Hello and welcome inside the Campus Recreation Wellness Center for the first of two basketball games here tonight as the Durham Lords host the Georgian Grizzlies. Your starters tonight for the Lords: number 3, Maddie Dender; number 4, Emily Glendenning; number 5, Dakota Kirby, joined alongside by number 22, Caitlin Crickshank, and 52, Keisha Arthurworthy. Round out the starting five for the Lords. For the visiting Grizzlies: Eden Young, Dana Snowden, Mackenzie Howlett, Debonique Knowles, and Jessica Stocksdale, 7, 10, 11, 23, and 33 if you're counting numbers. Joey Chapman and John Lodge inside the Campus Recreation and Wellness Center, perched inside the Kate Burness Media Gondola as the Durham Lords put their only 6-8 record, as that surprises me looking at it. The 6-8 record up against the lowly 0-11 for the Grizzlies. And John, it's good to be here, buddy. Only the second last home game of the year for the Lords. They certainly would expect to get a win here tonight.
Yeah, Joey, we've heard the term measuring stick game. Well, this is the term I'm going to coin. This is the dominance game. You have to prove that you are a team that deserves to be in the playoffs to the Durham Lords. So it's a good time to do it here against an 0-11 team.
Absolutely, as we get some quick foul off the top here. That's going to go against the Lords, I believe, but we will power through and let you know. I want to give a quick shout out to the Maskill Mills Elementary School for their rendition of the national anthem as their band got us started here tonight. I assume they'll be taking part in the second game as well, so we get a chance to hear that all over again when the Lords take on the Grizzlies in the men's matchup.
Never an easy thing for a grade 6 band to come out here and play in front of a college crowd, so yeah, commend them for doing it.
They didn't bring a tuba with them, John. I'll never forgive them for that, as that was my instrument way back in the Dizay, as Caitlin Cruikshank tries to get the Lords on the board here, and she cannot, as 40 seconds in here, we are still knotted at zeros. As I mentioned, the Lords 6-8 on the year. They've come into this one losing 2 in a row at George Brown and at St. Lawrence, 78-62 and 82-81 in a heartbreaker on Friday. As the Grizzlies come down here, and that basket is missed underneath by number 33, Jessica Stocksdale, the Aurelia native, missing her first basket of the night. That was a nice spin move there by Dakota Kirby, but she can't get the rock to fall as two teams struggled to get their offensive prowess here early. A deep three taken by the Grizzlies, and that ball goes 1.5 feet long, John, as this has not been a shooting expedition here early.
No, I just kind of made a weird face at that three-point shot. That was well long and rainbowed right over the rim there. So, and went off of Georgian and out of bounds for Durham ball. So we'll take it. Yeah,
this could be a long night for the Grizzlies if that's how they plan on shooting. As I will try and not mix up Grizzlies and Huskies, as I seem to tend to do with these teams in blue. As that's going to be a throw-in here for the Lords. Kirby will have it. Georgian, we mentioned, John, 0-11 on the season. 0-5 at home, 0-6 on the road. It doesn't seem to matter for them. They average 42.2 a game, and it's not like OCAA women's basketball is the highest scoring basketball in the entire universe, but 42.5 is just not going to get it done.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to get it done. And I mean, looking at their point totals a game at 42 doesn't surprise me, but they don't have a single player averaging 10 points or more per contest. Their highest is Stockdale at 8.2, followed by Snowden at 7 per game. So, yeah, it's a lot of holes in their offense, I would say.
Certainly lots of room for improvement as they look to close out their schedule. Still a bunch of games on their schedule remaining following this game here at Durham. They have back-to-back games against Loyalists, both at home, and then they're on the road at George Brown and Seneca with a home game against St. Lawrence squished in there to middle, as their season will end on the 21st of February when the regular season ends. That's a nice move inside as Arthurworthy gets it, and the Lords are on the board. Set up excellently there by Caitlin Cruikshank, who draws into tonight's starting lineup. Nice pass deflected there. Maddie Dender goes in. Dender with the easy layup and gets it to go. And Maddie Dender gets the Lords up by 4 here as she joins the action early. Georgian with the ball, they move it around. They have a 24 in their lineup and not on their game sheet. That's always my favorite thing here, Mr. Lodge, when we get that. As I see if I have it here, and I do not, so it wasn't even online for the Georgian Grizzlies, so we'll figure that out when we got a chance. She missed the shot either way as Glendenning looks to get involved here after jumping in. And she clanked that one off the rim as well. A good steal again by the Lords as their defense is picking up. It's Dender once again, one-on-one. A beautiful step there. Maddie Dender making, that was number 11, Mackenzie Howlett, look silly on that one. That's her second basket of the night. Lords up by 6.
That was a nice move by Dender. Crossover and reverse. That
was absolutely gross, John, as the Grizzlies try and answer back, and they cannot, as that ball is going to go out of bounds off of Young. It will be a Lord throw-in.
No, I believe the referee called that for the Grizzlies. He did point in the Grizzlies' direction, so we'll see what possession is.
Absolutely no idea how that's possible, but that's okay.
Nope, he's changed his mind. He had
beautiful. So I love when my eyes are correct, as I didn't think there was a Grizzly player or a Lord even close to that ball, as Young just dribbled it out of bounds. She couldn't get a handle on it. And this is the second referee stoppage here early, as this crew has to figure itself out. As we are less than 3 minutes into this one, this is already the second delay from this 3-team crew, as now they've ordered everybody up and down the court once again. As
I don't know what's going on here, Joey.
John, I've never seen anything quite like this, as Coach LaFontaine wants to have a bit of a conversation too, as all she can do is shake her head. Everybody in the gymnasium doesn't really seem to know what's going on here. Finally back in play, and it is Arthurworthy kicking it over to Glendenning. Back out to Dender. Dender switching up the shoes again. They're rocking the white kicks today. She was black and white in warm-up. I had my eye on it. As Arthurworthy misses that one. Georgian trying to answer back here, but it's slow and steady work. That is Snowden moving around to Howlett, who has it. A nice play there by Glendenning to intercept it. The defense here really picking up for the Lords as they try and make a transition break the other way, and they do. That was a very tough play, John, underneath the rim made by Dakota Kirby.
Yeah, fantastic job using the body there, and a great job by Emily Glendenning getting her hand in and getting the steal.
Absolutely, as the Lords team up for that one, and once again it's an out of bounds on the Grizzlies as they can't figure out their offensive attack at all. A second possession in a row, they're giving up the ball. This is Arthurworthy. She kicks it out back to Cruikshank, who moves it back to Glendenning as she surveys and takes her time. Cruikshank again, draped all over her is Howlett, but she gives it over to Kirby, who planks it off the rim. Good rebound underneath by Arthurworthy, who's being mugged, and took long enough, but the referee finally blows his whistle, and the coaches for the Grizzlies showing a little bit of frustration after a long season, as that was clearly a foul underneath the basket, and both coaches there get a talking to. I believe that was Todd Talbot, the other associate coach for the Grizzlies, who's on the bench of Andrew Broren, who is the bench boss of the 0-11 Grizzlies.
Yeah, he didn't look too happy. He had his hand his head in his hands there, shaking his head. But I mean, like, there was so much contact.
It seemed pretty obvious to me, right?
It was an obvious call, so.
I don't know, like, sometimes we see fouls, and especially in basketball, and especially at the collegiate level, you see some ticky-tack things. But that was certainly lots, as once again the Lords get the steal. Kirby does it herself, doesn't get it to fall, but will draw the second foul here against the Grizzlies. And John, this defensive stealing game from the Lords has been impressive early.
Yeah, they're showing their dominance, like I foreshadowed earlier at the beginning of the game. A great job by the Lords getting involved, getting their hands in on defense, getting those steals, man. And 2 fouls here, 5.5 minutes, just over 5.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. If the Lords keep this up, the Grizzlies are going to find themselves in foul trouble, sending the Lords to the line every time.
Yeah, and as an early timeout here is called by the Grizzlies, certainly just trying to get their team back on track. In the previous matchup, the Lords defeated the Grizzlies 74-46 here at home back on the 7th of November. For some reason, I have no recollection of that game. John, do you?
Probably because it was such a blowout.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember it at all, but we were probably here for it. I would certainly assume so. And
I'm sure if we went back on YouTube to on the Durham Lords Network and had a listen, it would be us with the call. But yeah, definitely not a game you would stick out in your memory.
Oh, excuse me. I had it wrong, Johnny. It was in Georgian. I'm looking at the Georgian schedule, not the Lord schedule. That makes way more sense, because normally we remember the teams and the names of players at least, but it's a whole new, unfamiliar crew for us here, as I feel better about that now. So looking at it, yeah, the Lords defeated Georgian at Georgian 74-46. And that is their only other matchup this year, as we are seeing them for the only other time answering the home and home, as the Lords have jumped out to an 11-point lead here early. Maddie Dender and Dakota Kirby each have at least 4 points, as that's a deep three taken there, and another one clanked off the rim from the Grizzlies, as they don't seem to have their stroke offensively here early. Given away once again, or is that a steal? Doesn't matter. Lords back the other way. It's Kirby. Had Dender, decided to keep it, and she gets it to fall, as that's just too much time and too many options for the Lords there, John.
Yeah, the Lords look like they're willing to give the Grizzlies those low percentage three-point chances from beyond. And another nice steal there, Joey.
Maddie Dender does it once again, and she gets it to fall, as this lead is now 15 in favor of the Lords. And it looks like Jordan's going to make a substitution here, as Cassidy Warren-Tapano gets ready to come into this game. Apparently coach has seen enough on a great 15-0 run for the Lords to start this one, as that's going to be a foul on Maddie Dender, I believe. Yeah, absolutely. That was a bit of a heavy contact play there, John.
Yeah, hard play, but I like seeing that. You know, just don't rest back on your laurels. Keep pushing forward harder and harder. 15-0 here, playing great defense, and all this is going to do is make Georgian beat up on themselves emotionally, mentally. They're going to get down on themselves, and the Lords are just going to have an easier time winning this game. Not that these games are easy to win, but when you have such an overpowering advantage in the offensive category, right?
Yeah, this game's over, John. The 15 points already. The Lords are going to win this. I can tell you, we're less than 6 minutes in. There's no way Georgian comes back. So that's unfortunate for them, but great for the Lords, as we have made a couple substitutions here. I've never called the game that early, but I'm so confident in this one right now. I apologize to all the Georgian fans, but if you're watching, and you have been watching, this is not an unfamiliar characteristic of this team, as they try and get on the board early, and they can't, as that one by Hannah Sweet, who's come into this game alongside as Timpano. And there it is. Sweet finally gets it to go, as it's 15-1 now for the Lords, ending a 15-0 run to start the game. Bunch of substitutions here, so we're going to read them out for you. Victoria Brody's come in, besides here Gillimore, number 23, and Jocelyn Kiera, who's finally made her way onto our game sheets.
You got Alyssa Navarro.
Alicia Navarro, excuse me, as well, and
Crookshank.
Caitlin Crookshank. Thanks, Johnny. I was trying to do it all from memory instead of just looking at my sheet. Oh, you lied to me. You lied to me, John. Emily Chamberlain came in. I just wanted to believe you.
My apologies.
That's all right. As another steal there. That time it's Kiera in for. This is Young, so she stays into the game. Kurchik has come in, number 8. Timpano, as I mentioned earlier, 33. Jessica Stockdale stays in, and Hannah Street has come in as well for Dominique Knowles, as our mystery 24 player has checked back into the game. And we still have not a clue who that is for the Georgian Grizzlies, but I can tell you her stat sheet reads 0000. Continuing on, here are the Grizzlies trying to get some offense going here. That's a nice pass inside, but a better job by the Lords. A double team there by Emily Chamberlain alongside Oh, excuse me.
It was Gallimore.
Yeah, Gallimore, but she's not on our game sheet either. Oh, there she is. Sorry. There's Zaharia. I totally lost her there. It's Gallimore. That was an excellent job there by the Lords, as they just are unrelenting here underneath the rim, especially defensively early, Johnny.
Yeah, it was a great job by Gallimore getting her hands in on getting the steal. The Lords are playing really strong under the net, and those are more the easier, higher percentage shots, we'll say. So if you can play strong defensively there, then you're going to force the Grizzlies into these low percentage attempts, and they just don't have the talent to make them.
No, absolutely not. As we've mentioned their offensive struggles all year. Let's just read out the stat line just to let the folks at home know that we're not making it up. 47% from the free throw line, 16.5% from the field, and disappointing 25% field goal average for the Georgian Grizzlies, and what has certainly not been the season they were looking to have. This ball is jacked up there and long once again. And once again, John, the Lords do a great job underneath the basket. That time it's Emily Chamberlain, and they lost it. They stole it back again. Gallimore with it that time. So 2 steals in the span of 10 seconds there for the Lords. And they come back the other way and get the bucket to go. Alicia Navarro gets her name on the game sheet with her first 2 of the night. 17-1, the Lords lead. We are 7. You heard that right, 7 minutes into this first quarter, and another great steal by the Lords. That time it was Kiera who moves it over to Navarro, who is fouled there just beyond the 3-point line. That's going to be a throw in here for the Lords.
That was a great pass, Joey. Sorry.
Absolutely. No, it's okay, buddy. Jump in there.
Yeah, that was a great pass there by Kiera. She dove, she got the ball, and then she seen Grizzlies coming at her and finds, I can't remember who it was who grabbed the ball, but I think it was Navarro. She found Navarro from the seat of her pants, and it was a great job. They didn't get the points up, but good job.
Yeah, it's plays like that are so tough, and they're going to get overlooked in this game, especially when you're up by a big margin early. But when you're Coach LaFontaine, those are the type of efforts you certainly have to be looking for. A full-out effort off your bench from Jocelyn Kiera, who will probably play lots tonight, as we could easily see the end for Maddie Dender and Alicia Navarro, players like that who play so much for the Lords. Wouldn't at all shock me if Coach LaFontaine decides to give her bench a bigger opportunity here tonight, and that's been proven evident here early, as she went to them fairly quickly after jumping out to that run. This is Brody for 3, taking her first of the night. She didn't have it there, but Victoria Brody can get hot and shoot as well as anybody in the OCAA when she's got it rolling. That basket once again missed by the Grizzlies. I believe it will be their ball.
Yeah, they're going to say that went off the Lords.
As 24 looks to be in some pain there. Maybe she got a hand to the face. I didn't see anything. Did you there?
Yeah, it was just a battle underneath the net. It wasn't anything egregious. I don't think it'll be too serious. You know, you don't like getting smacked in the face at all. It's probably got it in the nose, really.
It's never a fun feeling, that's for sure, especially when you're down by 16. Here is Eden Young with it now. Young making a nice drive in there on Navarro. A beautiful kick-out pass there as Grizzlies trying to get some good ball movement. Another good pass, but can't get it to go, as that was Stocksdale missing that one. Good ball movement there from the Grizzlies, but once again, it's all Swedish, no finish.
I don't understand. I don't know why this is shocking me, but the fact that they've only put up 1 point and we got 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter, Joey. This game has just been complete domination by the Lords, just making it tough for the Grizzlies to make any shots.
And the shots they are getting, they're just not making. Like, that was a good look from Stocksdale. It was an excellent job by the Grizzlies to move the ball around and give one of their power forwards a good look underneath the rim, and they just can't get it to go as the shooting woes continue here, and that's going to be a jump ball, excuse me. Yeah, that's right. I always get the jump ball looked weird. It always looks weird in OCAA rules because they don't actually jump it. They do a throw in, but you're right. And this will be Snowden with it now, and that ball is going to hit off the hands of Howlett. And it will be a Lord's ball, I believe.
I believe it went off the hands of Brody.
Oh.
Just off her fingertips.
The way Howlett reacted there, I thought it maybe hit her hands, but Victoria Brody playing good defense then. We'll give 13 the credit where it's due. Trying to kick it around here are the Grizzlies, but another great steal. Unfortunately, the Grizzlies still hang on to it. It's Howlett for 3, and that ball doesn't go. As a good offensive rebound there by Stocksdale. Fouled hard underneath the basket by Chamberlain. And somehow, Johnny, the Lords pick up their 4th foul with a $1:21 left in this first quarter.
Yeah, just strong defense is leading to a few fouls here. But it's surprising the Grizzlies have only been able to get 1 point. That was from the line. They get the chance to get another one, and they match their only effort so far and double their total. Massive 2 points.
Tripling their total there as Stocksdale does a good job at redeeming herself, and she gets those 2 free throws to go. As we're going to have a substitution here, as it's going to be Glendenning coming back in for Gallimore, as well as Dakota Kirby coming in for Emily Chamberlain, and I didn't look at my sheet once for that. That was, I feel good about that one, John.
Muscle memory.
It only took to the second last home game of the year, and they only added a few players on us, but I think we got it pretty much memorized at this point.
Yeah, I think the home team, we got those names built up. The brain is a muscle, by the way.
Hey, we're working on it. I don't know. I sat through a color correcting class with you for about 4 hours today, and I feel dumber for it.
Yeah. That was an interesting class.
I just handed that in. I'm done with it. As that ball is going to go out of bounds off the hands of Navarro, but
she deflected it.
Yeah, really, I put a negative spin on that. I don't know why. She made a real good play at the ball. Unfortunately, there she just couldn't control it. But those are the diving plays, and look at this pass deflected there by Brody directly up, as the Grizzlies looked like they had something going there, but not being able to get it to fall was Madison Janot. As she is checked into this game for the Grizzlies. Glendenning to Navarro. Navarro makes a nice little move there and gets inside and gets it to go. Alicia Navarro puts the Lords back up by 16 here as clock is slowly running down. That pass goes way long and wide as the player for the Grizzlies, number 11, Howlett, did not have her feet set there, John, and looks like she just rushed that pass.
Yeah, the Lords, or sorry, I should say the Grizzlies are offering zero threat to the Lords offensively. That's why you're seeing these fast break plays with one Lord back guarding the net, because they're not worried Georgian's going to put it in at all. They're pressuring up in the front court on the inbounds, and it's working for them.
We don't need to talk about it. I don't really want to talk about it, but this was pretty much what I expected from the Super Bowl on Sunday. One team marching up the field, being able to score at will, and one team not being able to do a thing. And it turns out that Nick Foles can play quarterback, but the Georgian Grizzlies still have issues putting the ball in the basket. And that's pretty much our entire Super Bowl talk for this broadcast.
Yeah, we now live in a world where Nick Foles is the Super Bowl champion. I couldn't believe it.
MVP, baby. As Victoria Brody trying to get a good steal, and that time she gets it. She may have picked up a foul there on Young, but we will wait and see.
It looks like that's what it'll be.
Yeah, okay. So Victoria Brody's going to put the Lords in the penalty here as our officials continue to not seem to know where to go on the court. 14.3 left on the clock. John, certainly...
No, just out of bounds, no foul.
Okay, so they figure it out eventually. She took 15 steps one way, back the other way. And my crusade against the officials continues. Howlett with the throw in here. Nice pass as she found Young. Young with a beautiful play underneath the basket. But getting all of that was Madison Janot. And she shot putted that ball 4 feet long. Brody takes a step back and gets it. Victoria Brody nails the three. I don't know why there was no signal. That ball went in, right?
I don't think it did. I thought no, it definitely didn't go in. It looked good, but that's the angle we're on. I think that just hit the side of the backboard and bounced out. Okay, so I've never actually seen a ball not go in the basket but think it went in the basket. So that's a first for me in a game full of firsts. The first 16-point lead at half for the Durham Lords women's team all season long. First 15-0 run to start a basketball game. And the first time I, for some reason, thought a ball went into the basket. Johnny, certainly the type of a dream start for the Durham Lords in this one, but they didn't just get it by accident. What did they do to get themselves to this point in that first quarter? Defense. One word, defense, man. They didn't take advantage, didn't take advantage of Georgian's bad record. They came out and they played their game. They didn't play down to their opponent, and it's working out for them. the Lords need to continue this dominance. I mean, a 3-point quarter, Joey. That you want to talk about first. That's a first. I haven't seen that before. So, yeah, just keep coming out, playing strong defense, getting your hand on the ball, and then another thing, another key in this game, maybe the referees can clean it up and get their act together a little bit.
Yeah, that's really been the strangest part of this game to me, despite the fact that the Grizzlies are shooting like 3% and they haven't been able to get anything going offensively. The fact that we've had 3 stoppages from the officials for probably a good minute and a half of length of time for the crews that we've seen, generally speaking, have been so strong and steady for the Lords, or in all of OCAA, all season long. Just very interesting from the officials here, but certainly hope they're going to pick things up, and I can't imagine, John, that they're going to be too tight calling the rest of this game.
No, I think they can tell which way this game is going, and just call it straight down the middle. You don't need to be too tense in your calls, and there's nothing going to be anything really too close in this game, as is evident by the first quarter here. It's the end of the season for them too, right? So maybe they're just a little bit tired.
Absolutely is. We've seen it, John, when you get down like this early, especially when you're a team that comes into this game expecting the worst, hoping for the best, and then they drop down like that as Maddie Dender tries to take a 3 from Markham. Can't get that one to go, but Arthur Worthy's going to draw the foul underneath the basket.
It's a jump ball, change of possession.
Really? Okay,
yeah.
It looked like there was lots of contact there, but the Lords
I think the problem
not
was
complaining too much.
Arthur Worthy didn't have full control. She only had fingertips on the ball, so.
As Georgia moves this ball around, it's number 24 once again, who quickly up to Janot, who moves it back around. This is Snowden now with it, guarded by Dender. Dender and Glendenning on the court now as all the starters back on for the Lords, alongside Caitlin Crookshank and Keisha Arthurworthy. And so the starting 5 that went on a 15-0 run right back out there as Navarro is going to drive, or excuse me, Kirby's going to drive the basket hard there, but she can't get it to go. She does draw the foul, John. What do you think of Coach LaFontaine bringing the starters back in to start this second?
You got to keep them active, right? You got to keep the blood flowing. I think that you're going to see a 50-50 split, really, between the bench players and the starters. And Kirby leading the team here with 7 points so far. She's doing a great job.
Look at you keeping stats today, buddy.
I'm gonna start counting air balls though, Joey, on Georgian's side, because there's been a lot of those so far.
They probably have more air balls than balls actually hitting the rim. It might be sad to say. It's very close, that number, which is a shocking revelation in this game.
It's another first for us. We're not used to seeing so many air balls.
Absolutely. As this ball goes in and up and blocked again. That's a better job on defense by Emily Glendenning than it was offensively by Cassidy Warren-Tampano. And the Lords once again come away with the ball. This first unit still yet to give up a point. Maybe they were together for the 1 point, but have yet to give up a regulation basket. Let's go with
field goal.
Field goal, yeah. That's the term I'm looking for, Johnny. Thank you.
No problem.
As this is Dakota Kirby, and she makes a nice play again defensively. Is she going to get called for the foul here?
I think it's going to be Georgian. I think Georgian is actually called for the foul on that one.
What a great play. So that's a beautiful play by Dakota Kirby. She steals the ball, draws the foul, gives the Lords possession, and now they're up 2-0 in the foul game here early. Less than 2 minutes into this one. It's Crookshank back to Glendenning. Glendenning over to Kirby. Kirby taking her time with it. 10 seconds left on the clock. She moved it inside to Arthurworthy, but they're going to call a foul there against the Georgian Grizzlies on the push. And because it was a pass, not a shot, there will not be a free throw attempt here as Maddie Dender will get the ball here for the Lords on the throw-in.
3 fouls, 8 minutes left to play in this quarter, Joey. Georgian's going to find themselves in trouble real quick.
If they weren't in enough already, getting into foul trouble is certainly not where they want to be, as Dender tries to find Arthurworthy as they're starting to get slick out there. And they can't get that one to go.
Trying to get a little too cute, I think, on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's certainly not unsurprising to see here, John.
Well, no, I mean, it's hard not to. You're up 17 points in the second quarter of a game. You try and make a couple of cuter plays, but, you know, missing that pass might make them lock it down a little bit more.
As long as the defense continues to stay solid, I'm pretty sure Coach LaFontaine's going to have no problem with her girls trying new things offensively and seeing what they can and cannot do, especially this starting unit, the way they have performed all season long. A little bit of creativity for this home crowd certainly could not hurt the excitement level here inside the Campus Recreation Wellness Center. And there it is.
It's the first field goal.
The first field goal for the Georgian Grizzlies comes at the 2.5-minute mark. 2.5-minute mark of the second quarter. What a run there for the Lords as Maddie Dender can't get that one to go. A circus-looking shot. Arthur Worthy got the rebound, and Maddie Dender somehow keeps that ball alive. Crookshank for three. Doesn't get that one to go as the Lords haven't shot a lot of threes in the last 10 minutes or so. That one looked like it had a shot. Didn't go. It's Kirby driving in, and Dakota Kirby rims that one out. That's 4 misses in a row here for the Lords. 5. Arthur Worthy underneath the basket. She's fouled, and that's going to be the 4th against the Grizzlies. And an uncharacteristically cold streak here has found the Durham Lords in the last 45 seconds or so. 3
offensive rebounds on those 4 misses, though, so great job getting the ball back, hunting that down.
Yeah, when you look at it that way, they're doing a great job underneath the rim offensively, John. Way to put a positive spin on it.
As Arthur Worthy said, she's gone to the line again to shoot another 2. Misses the first one.
Excuse me, I don't even know what, I just had a brain fart there. I went to cough, and then I went to move my mic, and I just didn't. Sorry, folks. As Arthur Worthy gets that one to go, Lords back up by 16. This is Howlett moves it up to 24. 24 with a quick pass there to Stockton, but Stocksdale, excuse me. She loses it. A 3 here from the Grizzlies, clanks, but they get the offensive rebound there. Good job by 22 Hannah Sweet, but unfortunately the Lord's just too much for her underneath the basket, and Dakota Kirby quickly makes her pay the other way. John, she's so good at that quick, fast break layup. We've seen it all year long. Yeah,
man, she seen what the defense was trying to do, and she cut through every single one of them, got around the last defender and put it up off glass and in. Great job by Kirby.
24 has it now. She kicks it inside to Scottsdale, who for my money has been the most impressive Grizzly here tonight, but once again it's Dakota Kirby with the steal. She's in alone. A late effort there from Young to get back defensively, but too little too late, and Dakota Kirby gives the Lords a 20-point lead, and the coaching staff for the Grizzlies has seen enough as they call their first timeout of the quarter.
Yeah, I don't know what else you need to see in order to call that timeout. If I was coach, I would have called that a lot sooner, but what are you going to be able to tell them? I mean, I'm sure you talked to them before the game about how good Durham was and how this was going to be a tough competition. You've lost 11 in a row. You know, the team building really isn't where you want it to be. So I understand not calling the timeout because there's not much else you can say, but you got to try and stop the run. You got to try and slow the Lords down some way, get your body in the way, and they've done that this quarter, but they found themselves in foul trouble getting their body in the way.
Do you have our score after 1?
I didn't get the score after 1. I do apologize.
Oh, it's okay. It was something 3, I think, or 2.
17 to 3, I believe.
17 to 3. That sounds about right. We'll get it at halftime as we got the fancy electronic printer down there, portable printer. We could have got the stats after 1, but that's all right. So
you have Kirby leading the team with 11 points, though.
11 points for Dakota Kirby. Who is on the court here for the Lords? Someone from the men's team trying to get a quick warm-up in. I can't see his number. I think
it's Stephenson.
You think it's the new
I think
guy?
It's Romero Stephenson.
That's why we don't recognize Romero that much, because he's new, but you're right. Lanky. It's all number 13, I believe, it says on his pants. So
yeah, it's Romero.
That's Romero Stephenson, who you will see later playing with Brandon Halliburton and the Durham Lords as the men's team look to have a much more competitive matchup in game 2 of the doubleheader, one in which Mr. Lodge, who is alongside with me, will have the call. 8 o'clock against a Georgian Grizzlies team that is directly behind the Lords in the men's OCAA basketball standings.
Yeah, just 4 points back of the Lords.
So that should be a good one. Lords find themselves in a playoff position on the men's side. Certainly don't want to be dropping big games as the shot clock winding down here on the Grizzlies. They finally get it to go. Not the best shot from Howlett as that clanked off the rim. They get the shot clock reset to 14, and they will throw the ball in. It is Scottsdale with it, with the opportunity off the timeout here as the Grizzlies trying to muster up some offense. Scottsdale for 3, and that one goes long. And that rebound nicely there by 24. She gets her second in a row, but once again, she can't get it to go. Arthur Worthy will pick up the second foul for the Lords here in this quarter on that play. 25-5. Here the score inside the Campus Recreation and Wellness Center. Joey Chapman alongside John Lodge as always. Follow me on Twitter at JoeyChapman54. Follow John at JustJohn19, I believe. 16. Why do I do that?
That's okay. Numbers can get confusing.
Just John 619, JUSJON 619.
We're just looking around the CRWC here. We've got a lot of photographers in the house today, Joey.
I was thinking that. I'm pretty sure the photography program has added doing a live event into their assignment portfolio. That's certainly what it looks like. As our boy Matt, who does such a great job and has done such a great job shooting videos and taking photos for us all year long, is
got some people
going elbows up.
Style.
Yeah, elbows up out here, trying to make sure that they don't get in his way, as this is his gym. Everybody else is just living in it for now. But you're right, John. It certainly seems to be a lot of amateur photography going on inside the CRWC here tonight. Nobody has come up and taken a picture of us inside the Caper Nest Media Gondola. So
no one wants to look at us. Brody makes that one.
That's a beautiful 3. I think that's Victoria Brody's first 3 of the night, John.
Was it 2, actually? Her foot was on the line.
It was a long 2. Okay, so that's why the gym didn't erupt like I thought it would. But either way, the Lords have their largest lead of the night now. I want to say 22 points, but
that's what it is.
Yeah. No, that.
Yeah, 22.
I know that's the lead, but
that is the largest.
That's the largest lead.
Yeah,
right?
we were at 20 was our largest before. So.
Oh shucks, so we're up to 22 as the Lords.
I was gonna write it down, but I don't want to write it down until it's. I'm not gonna write it down until half. I'm gonna be honest with you because this could be like a 30-point
lead. We have no idea. Half. It could easily be. As a good defense here from the Lords, as they've brought in most of their second unit, as Brody, as we mentioned, with the long 2. Navarro is back on alongside Gilmore, and that is Jocelyn Kiera. Excuse me, it's Emily Chamberlain, not Gilmore. As a deep 3 here taken from Kirby. Good pressure from Snowden on that shot as she can't get it to go. 22 points, still the lead. Just over 4 minutes left to go. Driving hard to the basket there. Navarro's going to pick up the foul. She shakes her head at that one as that's a pretty good eye roll from number 12 in white. As she picks up I want to say it's her first team 3rd here of the quarter. And going to the line to shoot are the Grizzlies.
Grizzlies doing a better job on defense. Funny to say, down 22 points, but when they were stuck with 4 fouls, doing a good job not being too aggressive, but not letting the Lords get too many shots. Like I said, funny to say, at a 21-point lead for the Lords, but it could be a lot worse if they were over-aggressive instead of the Lords still aligned. Yeah,
absolutely. Georgian's been in this position all season long. When you look at the points against for the Grizzlies, they are actually pretty good. They only have 745 points against. When you look at teams like Algonquin and Durham, who are over 1,000, Centennials at 900, George Brown and Seneca, the league leaders in the East region, have all given up more points. But I think it's fairly safe to say at this point, John, that the 7-4-5 given up by Georgian could be a lot worse if teams had stayed on the gas pedal, as the margin of victory when you go down the lineup has been 20 points or more most nights, as this has certainly not been the year for the Georgian Grizzlies.
Lots of time left for that, though. They got a longer schedule than the Lords.
They absolutely do. Lots more games left for them. I'm sure they're looking ahead to those 2 games at home versus Loyalist as an opportunity to get their first dub of the year, and doing it in front of their home crowd would certainly be that much sweeter. because at George Brown, certainly a tough matchup, and at Seneca, also not an easy one in the OCAA women's division, as that ball clanks out. 3:15 left here in this first half. Don't go anywhere, folks. Me and John are going to stop talking for a bit, but Maskill Mills intermediate basketball team will be putting on a show here at halftime. So don't tune away off Durham Lords Network, as that ball is found its way into the basket. A good offensive rebound there by Emily Chamberlain, and the Kingston, Ontario native has extended this to a 23-point lead, and it's a new high for the night for the Lords. A long pass there.
That's why I didn't write it down.
Hung on to by Eden Young. Better hands than Brady, as she found a way to keep that ball, as that's a foul underneath the basket. Victoria Brody doesn't like it, but going down hard was Jessica Stockdale, and she will go back to the line. I believe she is a perfect 2 for 2 from the line here tonight, as I believe number 33 has 4 of the 6 points here.
Yeah,
for the Grizzlies.
4 of their 6 points in the half.
I knew they were only at 6, but it still felt weird to say just 6.
It's so strange. I mean, we haven't seen dominance like this, but we've never seen a team quite as bad as Georgian yet this year. So
well, I don't even want to say it's just Georgian, because I think Durham's played really well defensively. They've done a good job at being aggressive, right? They've forced the turnovers, but Georgian certainly not helping themselves with some of their shot selections, and confidence is certainly not high, as that's a great play by Victoria Brody. Another steal. She tries to get the rebound, got it, gets it to go. Victoria Brody does it all herself on that one, and the Lords have broken the 30-point barrier here in the first half. They now lead 31-7, as it is a 24-point lead, I believe. Quick math.
Yes, it is a 24-point lead. Grade 4 math at its finest.
You know it, as we got an elementary school in the building here. You might as well get your simple arithmetic on the go, as Glendenning checks into this game for Brody. I think Brody picked up a couple fouls there in that quarter, so not a bad move by Coach LaFontaine to let her have a seat, as Kano Wusu stands up for the first time. Number 54 for the green, white, and gold. Looks like she's going to check into this game. Good to see her alongside Maddie Dender coming in. And so Navarro comes out for Dender, and Chamberlain, comes out for Owusu.
I think Georgians only have 1 field goal.
Yeah.
The rest of the points have been from the line.
They have the 1 field goal. That's it.
That's just ridiculous.
Good.
No, that's not good at all.
We're in the second quarter. We're minutes away from halftime.
We're in uncharted waters for us.
They're in single digits. I don't even know what to say. I'm just not anymore, as this is Kirby takes an off-balance shot, and that doesn't get it to go. And the Lords trying to... I think it would be a very impressive defensive quarter if they can come away with leaving the Grizzlies with single-digit points. So maybe that's the goal here for the next minute and a half for the Lords, as the Grizzlies come back, and they're certainly keeping up the defense. Owusu completely loses her man there.
And they break double digits.
Yeah, so I jinxed it there for the Lords, but that's Kano Owusu showing a little bit of rust as the bench player comes in, completely leaves Stockdale, excuse me. And Stockdale makes an easy point there for her second field goal of the game, as that is answered by Dakota Kirby for a nice looking 3 there. 34-11, less than a minute on the clock in just the first half, as the Durham Lords are mercying the Georgian Grizzlies here inside the Campus Recreation and Wellness Center in beautiful North Oshawa. Cold North Oshawa today. Yeah,
it was frosty today, eh?
It's been a bit of a time. It was so cold this morning. My car, we've been parking it in the garage. I got a little tiny thing. It works well. Doors were still frozen this morning, even in the garage. So get your Volkswagens checked, folks, as we're waiting here for the last 47 seconds to tick down in this first half. A good crowd on hand here for the first of 2, as the men's Durham Lords will take on the Georgian Grizzlies in a second half of our basketball doubleheader at around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as that ball hits off the hands of a Lord, but they're going to call a foul here against the Grizzlies, and now both teams find themselves in the bonus, as I didn't even realize the Lords got their 5th foul there, John. It's certainly hasn't been that type of night for the Lords, but that's twice in a row they find themselves maxed out in fouls.
Yeah, I don't think they're too worried about it once again, because there's almost zero offensive threat from the Grizzlies at the line, or in live play from the field. So, yeah, the Lords are just willing to give up those fouls, I guess.
And I think the stat I'm most looking forward to at halftime, John, is the steals from the Durham Lords, because you mentioned it. It's just been the aggressiveness of the Durham Lords that are forcing these fouls. They could easily just sit back here and maybe let Georgian shoot a little bit, but they're being aggressive, being hard on them. They're not afraid to reach in. As you see there from Dender, nice pick and roll from the Grizzlies, but Scottsdale can't get that one to go. And with 15 seconds left here in the first half, no time on the shot clock, as it's going to be all Kirby as she makes a nice pass inside, and Chamberlain gets it to go. And the Durham Lords will take a 38-11 lead into halftime, as it's been a dominating one for the home team, John. Can you pinpoint one thing that's impressed you most from the Lords here in that first half?
Aggressiveness, really, to be completely honest. They're not resting on their lead. They're continuing to press the game, press down the court, and pressure the Grizzlies into making bad shots or to taking fouls. So it's a good job by the Lords. I had written down that it was a 24-point largest lead, because I figured, the Grizzlies were making a little bit of a push, getting into double digits. Told you I didn't want to write it down until the half. I wrote it down, and now it's a 27-point lead for the Lords at the half here. So just aggressiveness, really. That's what sticks out for me.
27-point buffer for the Durham Lords as they look to pick up their 7th win of the year. Georgian on pace to get their 12th straight loss of the 17-18 season. Do not go anywhere on the Durham Lords Network. Myself and John will be right back after halftime. Enjoy the Maskill Mills intermediate basketball game in the meantime, and we will be right back in just over 14 minutes time. And welcome back inside the Campus Recreation and Wellness Center here inside the always beautiful North Oshawa. Joey Chapman and John Lodge with you as the Durham Lords are about to kick off a second half here, taking on the Georgian Huskies. Grizzlies, I don't even know why. That's the first time all game, too. I've been doing so well. As
you paused. I thought you were going to say Huskies and correct yourself.
The Grizzlies. Taking on the Grizzlies here in a bit of a laugher. 38-11 the score at halftime. John, when you look at the stat sheet, so many eye-popping things from that first half. What sticks out to you as we are just kicking off here in the second?
How about 16 steals as a team for the Lords, and we can go with 24 rebounds total. The Grizzlies did end up out-rebounding the Lords 29-24, but I think the Lords' rebounds mattered a little bit more, and then we can go ahead and say 19 points per quarter for the Lords. What a great first half for them.
Absolutely. Couldn't draw it up any better for the Durham Lords. Back-to-back 19-point quarters, giving up just 3 in the first quarter, only 8 in the second, as despite getting into the foul trouble in both quarters, it didn't seem to hurt the Lords, as they've done an excellent job here at both ends of the court against this 0-11 Georgian team. As the Grizzlies try and get on the board here to start this half, they come down. This is Howlett. She drives in hard and gets it to go. Mackenzie Howlett makes the easiest 2-point of the night for the Georgian Grizzlies.
Sorry to cut you off. I believe that's only their second field goal of the game.
No, they've hit a couple more since then.
Okay.
That's I believe that is their 4th field goal now. As I've been kind of keeping an eye on that one, as it did take an awfully long time. They didn't get their first field goal till about the 4-minute mark of the second quarter, believe it or not, and then Stoworth had a couple, and I believe, looking at it now, we can tell you. Yeah, Stoughton made 3 of 4 for the first half, and Hannah Sweet made 1, so there was 4 field goals made by the visiting team here in the first. And
those are free throws, I believe. I'm looking at field goals, and it's 2. 1 from Sweet and 1 from Stockdale.
Oh, you're totally right. Yeah, I was looking at free throws. No, I was trying to give him more credit.
Can get confusing sometimes.
I thought Stockdale made more than 1 field goal, but I guess not. Okay, so that's their 3rd field goal of the game. My goodness. Has not been the most offensively inclined basketball game. The Lords at 19 and a quarter, very strong, but could certainly be more. They've let themselves off the gas as Arthur Worthy makes a nice pass there. And she makes no mistake on that one, as the Lords are now up by 25. The largest lead of the night, 27 in favor of the Lords. Let's say led 38-11 at one point, and that was halftime. That's when they led that much. So Georgian fighting their way back in here slowly but surely, but it's been an uphill climb for them all season long. No wins, 11 losses. Doesn't seem to matter home or away. They have a few games left on their season. Certainly circling home, 2 home games against Loyalist later on in this month, as they missed that ball. It went wide. It's Howlett now, and she gets it to go. That's Mackenzie Howlett. She does a good job there. Back-to-back points from her as the Grizzlies take advantage of their first 2 trips down the court here in this second half. All the starters back out for Coach LaFontaine to start this second. This is Glendenning. She kicks it over to Crookshank, who to Dender. Dender for 3. And Maddie Dender, it looked like maybe the defender Dana Snowden got a piece of that ball, as it was an air ball. An uncharacteristic air ball from White Shoes Maddie Dender.
Yeah, I think she definitely did get a piece of it. Dender's shaking her hand out like she may have gotten a little bit of contact on that shot. It was a high arc too, not something we normally see out of Maddie.
Yeah, the patented kick out with her legs. She's so good at it. She's been a dominant force for this Lords team, as they're looking for their 7th win of the year here tonight, trying to claw back to that all-important 500 mark, as every point is important going down the stretch here. Dender gets that to go. Maddie Dender does it herself there, flying down the court. and gets that ball to fall. So coming into this game, the Lords in a tie with St. Lawrence for 12 points on the year, just 2 points back of both Centennial and Algonquin, who have 14. Everybody's chasing George Brown and Seneca, who are at 24 and 22 apiece. So a big matchup here tonight, not so much when it comes to where Georgian is, John, but for the Lords to get these 2 points when they need them before they go on the road, or excuse me, before they take an 11-day break, as they won't play again after this game until February 17th, right here at home against Algonquin. So lots can change in that 11-day span. The Lords just looking to do what they can to move themselves up the standings and focus on the rest later on. This is a wide open Emily Glendenning, and a wide open multi-sport athlete for the Lords makes that one, as she was a part of the OCAA Women's Softball National Champion Durham Lords, as one of only a few multi-sport athletes here on campus. A nice pass up there for Dender, who gets it, and Maddie Dender has opened up, wait for it, John, a 30-point lead for the Durham Lords, as this is a rout of the George Brown Grizzlies.
Yeah, their largest lead, and she just got her 10th
Georgian Grizzlies,
point.
oh my God.
It's either
throw something.
That's okay, Joey. It's kind of a crapshoot of a game right now. We're just trying to fill as much airtime as possible. As not Arthur Worthy. Yes, Arthur Worthy. My apologies. Gets the old-fashioned three-point play, 2 in the foul.
It's a good job there from Arthur Worthy, using her body underneath the basket. She's about to come out as Crookshank's going to come back in, or Chamberlain, excuse me. Oh my goodness, as Chamberlain's going to come back in. Crookshank comes out for Victoria Brody, and after this point here, as Arthur Worthy rims that ball out, unfortunate for her there, as she can't extend it to a 31-point lead. And she's going to come out as Crookshank is going to, or Chamberlain, oh my goodness. Chamberlain comes back in, and we have made your substitutions here less than 4 minutes, or less than 5 minutes into this third quarter. Apparently words are hard for me here, John.
Chamberlain, Crookshank, 24, 22.
I'm having a tough time.
A lot of like things there.
George
I can
Brown. I don't even know why I said George Brown. This is.
It's those Huskies creeping in.
Well, I know, because I made it through the entire first half of basketball without messing it up once, and then just can't get it to go. Neither can Emily Glendenning on that ball, as that just came a hair short on that three-point attempt. Good pass there from Kirby to Dender. Dender clanks off another three, as the Lords trying to increase their beyond the arc stats, as that's a couple 3 balls in a row here for the Lords, but they've had a couple good looks, just can't get them to go. They still lead by 30, and they are not overly concerned about what Georgian's going to do coming back up the court. And now you just get proven right there is given away directly to Dakota Kirby, and she's going to go up, doesn't get the layup, but she will pick up the foul call, and that's going to be the 4th. You heard that right, the 4th foul against the Georgian Grizzlies here in this third quarter, as they are in deep foul trouble with 5:11 left on the clock.
Kirby leads the team with 14 points, and we'll see if she can get her 15th here. She clanks the first one, back rimming out.
And she cannot, Johnny, as she missed that one too. Uncharacteristic there from Dakota Kirby, missing back-to-back free throws.
It's a good job by the Lords keeping the intensity up, eh, Joey?
Yeah, absolutely. They're doing a good job here, keeping the pressure on Georgian. They're not letting them breathe too much. They're playing most of the game down on their end of the court, which is exactly what Coach LaFontaine is going to want to see here. Is good passing too, as that's Brody to Dender, and Dender can't get it to go again. That's 3 3-pointers in a row we've seen the Lords miss, John, as they're trying to get it to go, but can't quite find the touch from beyond the arc. Dender waving to Brody, gets her open. That's going to be a long 2 here, and there it is. Victoria Brody gets the 2-pointer there, takes her time, and makes no mistake on that one, as the Lords now up by 32, 51-19. Trying to get into the 20 points are the Grizzlies, and they're not going to do it that way, as that's an air ball from Hannah Sweet, the Barrie, Ontario native. missing large that time. Dender tries to answer back, and she can't too, as Maddie Dender shakes her head once again. As we keep an eye on Victoria Brody, who feels it a little bit after going down hard on that missed layup attempt.
Man, we've all heard or seen the movie Air Bud. Our boy Matt can make a movie about this Grizzlies team called Air Ball.
Yeah, it certainly hasn't been pretty, as the team in blue, the visiting squad, has struggled all night long to find their range. As they got lots of young players on this team. Really, the only fourth year is Eden Young, the Tottenham native. I certainly assume that's Tottenham, Ontario somewhere, and not Tottenham, England. Or at least for her sake, I hope so. That's a long way to go to lose 12 in a row. And yeah, they have Katrina Kurtic, who we've barely seen in this game, number 8. Demonique Knowles and Jessica Stockdale are their only other third-year players. You have Dana Snowden, who's a second year. The rest are first years on this relatively small roster from Coach Boren. Janot, Howlett, Warren Timpano, Lexi Richards, who we have yet to see, and Hannah Sweet, all first-year players, as they are certainly learning the growing pains that can be an OCAA season.
Yeah, just looking at the score sheet here, the Lords have 2 players in double digits already, that being Dender and Kirby, and Arthur Worthy knocking on the door with 8, so they could have 3 in double digits here. Surprising to me, Crookshank has no points in the game. She's going to hopefully get back in this one and maybe get that 0 wiped off.
Yeah, the only starter who doesn't have a point for the Lords is Caitlin Crookshank. She is 0 for 2 from the field. I know she missed a 3-pointer as well, as that's going to be a call there against Georgian, as the Lords going to have the ball. I believe it was an out of bounds, as the Grizzlies continue to struggle down on the Lords' end of the court. Coach has made some changes here as Navarro's come back in. So has Jocelyn Kiera. Emily Glendenning and Victoria Brody alongside Emily Chamberlain for the green, white, and gold, as they are in the middle of a rout over the Georgian Grizzlies.
Navarro picking up a foul there. Unimpressed, but it was a foul. Nonetheless, she got the chest into the Grizzlies player, and I believe it was number 8, whoever that may be.
Number 8 is Katrina Kurtic, as we haven't seen much of her, but she is in the game. You're right, Johnny. As only 2 players for the Lords saw 0 playing time in the first half, and that would be Raquel Clayton and Stakina Gilbert, as they are both on the bench just at the very end of it for Coach LaFontaine for the Georgian Grizzlies. The only player who did not see any playing time was rookie Lexi Richards. And we have not seen number 14 on the bench, so she is there and ready to go if called upon. Certainly, if I'm her, you can't imagine it could go any worse by putting me in the game, if that would be my thought process.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, and just as I realized that Bossman Chris forgot to change her feed name.
I'm noticing that too for the first time.
Yeah, it is not January 28th, it is February the 6th, and the Lords are facing the Georgian Grizzlies, the Bears.
Yeah, not the La Cité Coyotes, who thank God they're out of town. That was a tough broadcast for both of us, buddy, as some of those French names out of Loyalist and out that way.
They don't roll off the tongue so easily.
Absolutely not for us. Very, very Anglophone, Ontario, Toronto-based aspiring broadcasters. Anyways, yeah, so it is the Lords versus the Grizzlies here, in case you're tuning in wondering why these teams, the jersey schemes, are off for the La Cité Coyotes, as we will do our best to get that figured out. One good text should get that going, as the Lords lead by 31 in this one. Joey Chapman joined, as always, by John Lodge here inside the Campus Recreation and Wellness Center, up perched high above in the Cape Burness Media Gondola, as that is going to just clank off the rim as the shot clock was expiring. All Snowden couldn't get it to go. Victoria Brody wrestled it away from her, and they're going to say she stepped out of bounds, as she's disgusted with that call, and she's going to walk away from the ball. Less than 3 minutes to go here. The Lords putting an exclamation point on this one in only the third quarter. Games like this, John, it's where basketball almost wishes it had a mercy rule.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the Grizzlies can do to get back in this one, but they're not doing it right now, I can tell you that much.
As 24 takes the shot and she can't get that to go. We haven't had to learn her name yet because she hasn't made a shot. This is Victoria Brody. She still doesn't get it as the Lords keep trying the three-pointers here, John, and they keep clanking out.
Yeah, they only made one in the first half and now one in the second half. That one for in the second coming from Emily Glendenning, her first 3 points of the game. Not really forced to make those three-pointers, so I think they're taking, almost worse looks. They're just throwing it up there to throw it up there as opposed to really needing to get those three-pointers to stay in the game, having a 31-point lead and all.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just jacking them out here. They've had a couple good looks. They're just not afraid to shoot them, I think, is kind of the mentality right now from the Lords, as that one is missed again, that time by Jocelyn Kiera. And a nice job there by the Grizzlies. Quick little ball movement. It seems like Hannah Street almost surprised herself how easy that was, as number 22 lays that in for the Grizzlies. Missed there, another deep three. That time it's Victoria Brody, and Coach LaFontaine's seen enough of this as Dakota Kirby stands up. Have to imagine she's going to come in for Brody in just a few minutes as that clanks off the hands of Kursich, and the Lords come back the other way. Navarro to Brody. Brody gets it to go. Victoria Brody takes advantage of that quick, fast break, and the Lords regain their 31-point lead.
Been a great game so far for the Lords. Brody, someone who's normally really emotional. With a huge lead like this, there's no need for that emotion, and she's been keeping it in check. So good job by her. If there's anything I can say is just stop trying to do it on your own. A couple of these fast break plays where they're coming down the court, they have a teammate with them, and they'd be able to pass it off, but they're not forced to do that because it's such a wide margin of victory so far. So they're almost trying to pad the stat line a little bit, and I don't blame them for doing that. Yeah, just a really a good job all around by the Lords.
Once again, they find themselves in the penalty as they've picked up their 5 fouls here again in this third quarter. That's all 3 quarters so far in this game they've done so. As the aggressive defensive play from the Lords biting them just a hair, but I think they'll take it, and I think it's pretty safe to say they would have certainly backed off a little bit if this was a closer ball game, as Owusu comes back in, and so did Dakota Kirby, as Emily Glendenning is also going to take a seat with just over a minute left to go here. Kirby wide open, and that ball clanks out there.
Coach LaFontaine went 11 players deep so far. Like I said, only 2 not playing, and that being Raquel Clayton and Stenica Gilbert. So not afraid to use the bench, and at the half, the bench was outscoring the Grizzlies 14-3. So good job getting all the team involved.
Absolutely, and not the largest bench for the Grizzlies, as they have 4 players on the bench, but we have not seen rookie Lexi Richards at all game long, so we will continue to wait and see.
Yeah, man, if I'm coach, I throw her out there just to kind of see what I can get. You're not getting much from the rest of the team at this point, so you try and spark in any way. This game is over, like you said, in the first quarter at 5 minutes in. So it's just a win-win situation, really, a no-lose situation, because you're not really in this contest.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's games like this that are so much different to play in. They're so much different to coach. They're so much different to broadcast. It's the biggest challenge for the players is just to stay intense and do not make dumb mistakes that can sometimes get yourself injured. Make sure you're hard on your feet. Make sure you pick them up and put them down and put them in the right spots. The last thing you want to do is roll an ankle here today, especially in a game that is over and has been over since, when did I call it? Halfway through the first?
Yeah, 5 minutes into the first. I believe it was 15-1. You said this game was over. So.
Yeah. I kind of feel bad about that one, Georgian, but not really, because that's been the easiest call of my life.
Well, they've scored 9 points. Or not 9 points, sorry. They've scored 23 points, my apologies.
23, yeah. I was going to say, buddy, what are you talking about?
23 points since that time. For some reason, I thought they had 14. I don't know why. Yeah, the Lords doing a great job on defense, only allowing 25 points with 15 seconds left to go in the third quarter. 25, possibly 26 through 3. Can't really ask for much more from the Lords, especially seeing, like you said, they've been in the penalty in every single quarter.
Georgian, after those throw-ins or free throws, will get the ball back as well, as the Lords are in the penalty here. Young throws it in. Quickly lost by Tapano, as Owusu does a good job there to steal that pass. Nice pass from Owusu to Dender. Dender can't hang on to it, and that's going to be out of bounds on the Grizzlies. It will be Jocelyn Kiera with a .7 or a .17, I don't know, 1.7 seconds left on the clock here in this third quarter. Words are hard today for your boy. Owusu takes the time, gets blocked there. Good job by Stockdale, as she continues to be the lone bright spot for the Georgian Grizzlies in this one. Absolutely a dominating performance, as the Lords have let their lead slip to 29. It's quick math too. That's easy math. I don't know why it was bugging me. 29 points. And John can't ask any more from the Lords here, as they've had control of this game from the get-go. But if you had to be nitpicky, and I know you can be, where would you be nitpicky?
Just the fast break area, like I had mentioned earlier in the quarter. Just finding that open teammate. I get that you want to get those numbers for yourself, but it's on those situations when you're forcing things that, like you said, an injury could happen, and there's no need for that in this game. They've been activating their teammates all game long. Just continue to do that, and just keep up the intensity in this one. Clean up the rebounds as well. The Grizzlies have been able to pick up some points in the third quarter that they weren't able to get, more than doubling their total from the first half. So just clean it up, and let's get out of this one with a clean victory and no injuries, because like we said, this team is being completely dominated, and the Lords need to move on and look ahead.
And looking ahead in the Durham Lords schedule, after tonight's game, just 3 more on the season, after tonight's game, just 2 more on the season, as I wanted to count tonight's game. So just 1 more, Saturday, February 17th, right here at the Campus Recreation and Wellness Center. Your boy Joey Chapman with my boy John Lodge will be on the call. As always, that should be a good one, as Algonquin is a very good team.
Georgian put 14 points up in that quarter, more than they had in the entire first half. So,
and Algonquin, John, just to look ahead to that matchup a little bit, is directly ahead of the Lords with 14 points on the season. And depending on what happens for the Thunder between tonight's matchup between the Lords and the Grizzlies and that matchup in over a week, that game could potentially be the difference between the playoffs, as that is certainly the goal for all these teams. Once you get into the dance, you don't know what could happen, and for the Durham Lords, they certainly have shown enough talent, and they've played strong enough as a team to certainly be deserving of that qualification, but they have to win out, most likely. And they finish off with Centennial, another important game. So 2 games after this one against 2 teams directly ahead of them in the standings. The Durham Lords control their own destiny moving forward, Mr. Lodge, and certainly needed to start with a win here tonight, but they are going to find a way to do just that. And going to have a real opportunity to get some postseason ball inside the CRWC, which would be great to have that type of environment here, as the men's team certainly looks like they're well on their way to doing just that.
Yeah, it'll be fun for me and you to be able to call our first playoff games together. And yeah, just looking at the schedule, the Lords we're coming off back-to-back losses. So this one, getting that, ending that losing streak, getting the W, getting them in a good mentality, good mindset heading forward. And with two tough matchups, like you said, against teams directly ahead of them, will put them in great position heading into the playoffs.
It will, no matter what these Lords do, John, it will not be the only playoff basketball here inside the CRWC. We have one ready to go. It's booked. We're playing it. We got a women's volleyball playoff matchup on Saturday, February 17th. Not quite sure what the time will be, but it is a women's game in the playoffs. We have it locked in for sure. So either way, it's going to be fun to see Jessica Johansson and the Lords in the playoffs. We certainly expect the men's team to get there. On the basketball side, this women's team has given themselves every opportunity, and unfortunately, we might not see the men's volleyball team in the playoffs, but we've seen real good things from them, and it wouldn't at all surprise me to see a run from them that gets them into a good position, as we are less than a minute, or just over a minute and a half here, Johnny, as the Lords lead by 31. I know you keep talking about it, and I keep asking you about the aggressiveness of the Lords here today, but what have you made of the shot selection, especially early by the Lords, to get everybody involved, and as they were really doing a good job at being a team and finding each other, especially back in that first quarter?
Getting their Golden State on, man. That ball moves faster than your feet. Pass, 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 get the defense moving, find the open shot, and more times than not, it's underneath the rim, in the paint, getting those 2 points, get the foul, make it into a three-point play. You look at the score sheet, and we notice that the Lords have shot a very poor percentage from three-point, but they haven't needed it. It's because they're passing the ball well, and they're playing well as a team. That's what I've noticed, and not needing that three-point, not needing to stretch the game out that way, because, like we said, as much as, even if you're shooting a high percentage, those are lower percentage shots than the twos in the paint.
Absolutely. As it's called a timeout here for the Grizzlies, as they extend the misery for themselves and the fan base, as somehow this game has gone on quite a while, John. We are almost an hour and a half into this one here inside the CRWC. Men's game is scheduled to start at 8.
Yeah, we're at 7:30 already, so.
Yeah, so who knows, as a text message from the boss man comes through. It looks like he's finally going to change the stream. It's only a text 20 minutes ago, CC, but it's all right. Good to know. Good to know that you're working hard. 24 with the throw-in. Quick out here is Georgian trying to give themselves some confidence going into an important little homestand for them, as they look to find a way to get rid of the goose egg in their win column.
Build for next year.
Absolutely. You got to look ahead. As Maple Leaf fans, John, we've heard all the cliches for bad teams. You got to look ahead to the future. Good young talent. You never know what a good recruiting class can do. Things turn around quick in the OCAA. One good player, you've seen it in basketball, they can change everything quick. So Georgian certainly has to be hoping that that is the case. Obviously, I don't know how much the Georgian Grizzlies have ever been known for their basketball programs, but certainly would like to be competitive, and it just has not been a competitive season. And that's a good steal there from 24, is trying to get a little too fancy with that one.
Still don't know her name.
Navarra. We don't have her name, so it's not that I don't want to know her name. I really wish I did. 24 Georgian Grizzlies, we apologize. You're just not on a game sheet. You're not listed on the OCAA website. Oh, maybe I can find her on the OCAA website somewhere other than rosters. That's where I looked for. And she's not on the website. Yeah, I can't help you. I apologize to the family, but they just don't have her listed. And
Mackenzie Howlett been a lone bright spot, I think, for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I've liked Howlett.
At this after the half here, she was 0 for 3 from the field and 0 for 2 from three-point in the first half, but she has made 3 field goals. I don't know if she's gone to the line at all this half, but she's been the lone bright spot, and it's sad to say, at just 6 points.
Yeah, I thought, Jessica Stocksdale has been good as well. She was 1 for 7 from the field, I guess, in the first quarter, or in the first half, excuse me. I guess maybe that's why I remember it, because she had the ball in her hands a lot, just unable to take advantage of opportunities. As you're right, it's definitely been Howlett here who's been the best player on the court for the team in blue in the second half. She started out strong with a couple quick layups and
got the team going a little bit, but I mean they came back to their normal way of playing, and it's just been complete dominance by the Lords all game.
It's just been an uphill battle all season long for this Grizzlies team. That's a nice layup there by Dana Snowden, the Kemptville, Ontario native, in her second year with the club. Makes a nice little spin move on that one as, Dakota Kirby is stolen there as Eden Young tries to get it to go, but she's not going to get it, and that's going to be out of bounds on Georgian. I believe it should be, as Young was the last one to touch that ball.
I think they're going to call that off of Kirby.
I didn't think she got a piece of it, but I don't know. The officials are not my friends, so. But in a 27-point game, I will not rail on them too hard, as that's going to be another throw in here for the Grizzlies as Victoria Brody. And I feel like that play we talk about a lot more in a tight game, but Victoria Brody absolutely just stuffed the Georgian player there.
None of that in her house.
And like, that was just gross, but we're not even going to talk about it. That's just a blip on the radar in this game. But a great defensive there play by Victoria Brody as Maddie Dender gets caught up in a poor screen there.
Offensive foul.
Yeah, that's absolutely a foul, as I believe it's number 22, Hannah Sweet, who just didn't have her feet set at all and just took out Maddie Dender, who did a good job running through it. And I like that from Dender, Johnny. Now that I'm thinking about it, we've seen Maddie Dender a lot. Not necessarily the biggest player on the court, actually. I'm pretty confident she's the smallest player on the Durham Lords without looking at it.
She's their spark plug, though.
But yeah, she's a spark plug. She's aggressive. She's not afraid to dive out for balls or lay out, run hard into a charge, be there in the paint. She does everything for this Lords team, and she can shoot the three. Such an important asset for Coach LaFontaine, and as she nears the end of her Durham Lord career, that's going to be a big shoes to replace. But we have a long way away from thinking about that for Maddie Dender. Right now, the green, white, and gold focusing on the here and now and making that postseason push. As a good rebound there underneath the basket from Arthur Worthy as she quickly moves it up to Dakota Kirby. Just over 5 minutes left here as Kirby shoots that. That was Brody who gave it to her, excuse me.
Arthur Worthy becoming the third Lord of the game in double digits.
Double digits for Arthur Worthy, eh?
Yeah, 10 for Arthur Worthy, 10 for Dender, and 14 for Brody. So it's a good job. I'm surprised that the starters are even still in this game, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It is kind of surprising to see Arthur Worthy's come in for Crookshank, as we mentioned earlier. She was one of the only starter who's still at a goose egg. We'll see if Coach LaFontaine brings her back in. And Victoria Brody has come in as well for, who's she on the court for who started? She is in for Dender. No, I don't know who she's in for. Oh, Glendenning? No, Glendenning's out there. Doop-a-doo. Oh, Arthur Worthy was in the starting lineup. Excuse me. That's where I make the mistake in my head. Arthur Worthy was in the starting lineup. So Brody's in here for Crookshank, and that's the only difference. That's the only difference. I had myself all ass backwards there.
Crookshank has kind of found herself stable to the bench.
Yeah, she missed a couple shots in the first. Arthur Worthy's been good down low. We've seen Keisha Arthur Worthy when she's on all season. She does such an excellent job. You mentioned that she's in the 20 or in the double-digit plateau here. That certainly is not uncharacteristic for number 52 in white, as she's been strong. She's a 50% field goal shooter on the season, 66 from the line. Coming into this game, she averaged just over 8 per game, as she's really the next up in line behind Glendenning, Brody, Kirby, and Bender for this team. Which makes sense, as those are generally the 5 starters for Coach LaFontaine, as we are less than 4 minutes left to go in this one. A 33-point lead here for the Lords, and kind of just shows the type of night it's been for both teams when I tell you I don't believe that's the largest lead of the night for the home team.
No, 33 I believe.
Well, that is 33 now, but 33. I thought they had 34 at one point. Either way.
27, I believe, was their largest, but I mean, it may have gotten bigger. I didn't check after the half. So, yeah, definitely in the realm.
Yeah, 33 is in and around the largest lead for the Lords here tonight, as they are cruising to a victory in this one. The only negative I could really talk about on the Lords is just how they've been in the foul trouble all 3 quarters, because certainly that's something you want to tighten up, but I think we've done a good job explaining it, Johnny, as we've progressed through the broadcast. It's not so much the fouls of the Lords, it's their aggressiveness in trying to create things and staying on this Georgian team that's forcing the fouls. And I think that had to have been a talking point from Coach LaFontaine coming into this one, because we've seen this Lords team be aggressive, John, but we haven't seen them like this, where they've been picking up the fouls or they've been making the steals while picking up the fouls and not seemingly too concerned about the fouls.
Yeah, the Grizzlies not shooting the greatest percentage either from the field nor from the line, so they're not worried about taking those fouls, but I like what you said there. You got to clean it up, because the next teams you're facing, these are teams that are good from the line and are good from the field, so you can't be finding yourself in the penalty. You get a little bit, you're kind of playing to your opponent here, not worrying about it and being super aggressive and trying to turn the ball over. Cleaned it up a little bit in this quarter, though. Only 2 fouls so far with 3 minutes 40 to go. I wouldn't be surprised if Arthur Worthy had a double-double this game.
Oh, what's she at now?
She had 5 rebounds at the half.
Okay, yeah, that wouldn't shock me at all. Yeah, Arthur Worthy does such a good job underneath the basket on both ends, and we've seen her get double-doubles in the past. She averages just under 6 rebounds a game. So, matching her average in the first half, and yeah, she's been out here enough, Johnny, where it certainly would not shock me. Maybe next time we'll work on 3rd quarter stats, as we can get them. It's possible, so we'll work on that for the men's game here. That's a hard foul. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
As the coach for the Grizzlies really not happy with that, Andrew Broran, as that was a hard play there by Victoria Brody, but no call by the officials, as they're just going to let it go, as I think...
Yeah, Kirskic took the worst of that one.
Kirskic definitely did, as the coach is going to have to take it. Be very careful here, as he's seconds away from getting a technical. As this game just continues to drag on here, Victoria Brody showing off her physical gameplay, as that was a good one there, and looks like Eden Young is going to have the throw in here for Georgian, as we try and get this game over for you folks, as game 2 of this doubleheader is supposed to start very shortly. Looks like it's going to be a bit of a delayed start on that one, but do not go anywhere here on the Durham Lords Network, as if you just keep this stream going, we will be here when you come back.
Who needs a break? We don't need a break. Let's just go.
Absolutely not. I think the only reason we need any type of break whatsoever is just so the boys can get warmed up for each side. But if we were smart around here, we'd have them over in the UOIT gym just down the hall warming up in there, so we could just get this next game going, me and you ready to roll. You're on the play-by-play, so I hope you're prepped.
Prep. Yeah, I got it.
That's unnecessary. yeah, I got the paper in front of me. It's good. Hey, as 32's into the game, and Raquel Clayton gets it to go. Coming off the bench is Takina Gilbert in here as well, and she is not in. So Raquel Clayton or 34 is not in the lineup, but it's Takina Gilbert. Or Raquel Clayton, excuse me. Number 32, Raquel Clayton gets in, gets a basket. Good for her. as that gets a good ovation from the bench, as they certainly like to see some of their teammates get involved in the action. So here at Gallimore on the court here for the Lords. Cruikshank getting an opportunity here to break her goose egg, John, at the end of this game. Joined by Jocelyn Kiera and Victoria Brody. Brody jacks the three. That hits the back of the rim, but a good rebound by Gallimore. Jocelyn Kiera with the three, and that ball rims out as well as the Lords miss back-to-back, and Gallimore can't rebound them all, but Victoria Brody with a gross steal there. Oh my goodness. Put your wallet away, folks, because Victoria Brody is going to rob you blind.
Just picking pockets all over the place.
Like a young orphan in Oliver Twist, Victoria Brody just stealing it right out of the pocket of the Georgian Huskies. Grizzlies.
Game's almost over.
Oh my goodness. No, I'm going to do it in the men's game too. I know I am. Brody guarded here by Young. Nice pass into Clayton. Clayton battles hard underneath the basket. It's going to be a jump ball, I believe, as the referee makes some signals. I think that all means jump ball. Buck 45 left on the clock.
Bunch of hands all over the place.
Yeah, he didn't really make a signal, as it's a 35-point lead here for the Durham Lords, officially their largest lead of the night. Drived hard is Howlett, but that doesn't fall for her. Excuse me, that was Snowden. Deep three here taken, and a deep three missed by Cassidy Warren Tapano.
This is not a recording.
Brody coming back down the court now. Kiera gets it, and that's a three ball. Jocelyn Kiera gives the Lords 70, and it is a 38-point lead for the green, white, and gold here at home.
Running out of room on my sheet.
Stolen again by Jocelyn Kiera as she tries to find Brody, and they're going to say that went off of her left foot, I believe. She doesn't like it very much. Oh, no, they're going to say it went off.
Went off the knee of 12.
Huh. Though just the way Victoria Brody reacted there, it certainly looked like she wasn't getting the call, as Cruikshank finds Brody as, what the heck were the Grizzlies doing there? They all moved one way and left. Number 13 in white all alone underneath the basket. And with 1 minute left in this game, your hand's going to get a break here, John, as the Lords can only have so much time for so many more buckets here with a 40-point lead. You heard that right, folks. It is a 40-point lead for the Durham Lords, as Clayton's going to pick up her first foul.
Credit where credit is due. I forgot to mention it. Brody becoming the fourth Durham Lord in double digits.
Absolutely, as it's really been a team effort here from the Durham Lords. Victoria Brody coming off the bench to put up double digits. She hangs on to that somehow and keeps that alive. A great effort, but she couldn't get the pass to go. Gallimore has it. Fought hard underneath there, as that's Chanot.
Lots of contact on that,
Yeah, I think the officials were looking just to let this thing run out, but no choice there, as the Lords playing very physical underneath the rim. Fifth of the game for Jocelyn Kiera as she fouls out, forcing Dakota Kirby to come back in. So Kiera is done at 5. That is 4 for the Lords here, but time is slowly but surely ticking away. 20 seconds left on the game clock, 16 on the shot clock. That is, I don't know if you want to call that a steal or if the ball was just left underneath the basket by Hannah Sweet. Either way, it will be Lords' ball.
There's our boy Fun Show getting warm on the bike over there. Getting ready for the second game of this doubleheader.
Which is, I promise you folks, is going to be a more entertaining one. Two very good teams fighting for playoff position. John Lodge will have the call as time is going to tick, tick, tick down here on the Grizzlies. One last attempt maybe. It is. It doesn't go, as Lexi Richards comes into the game at the very end and can't get it to fall, as the Durham Lords put a beating on the Georgian Grizzlies, 74-32. They double them up and more, as that's a big win for the Lords in their second last home game of the year. not too much else to say about that one, Mr. Lodge. Who finished with the most points for the Lords? And let's get out of here.
Kirby finished with 16 points, but honorable mentions to Arthur Worthy and Dender and Brody. Arthur Worthy and Dender with 10, Brody with finishing with 12. Great job all around by the Lords.
Big win for the Durham Lords. We will be back on February the 17th for the final home broadcast of the year. Thank you so much for joining us on the Durham Lords Network. I am Joey Chapman for John Lodge. We will see you in about 20 minutes time.